Right, ladies, good afternoon and welcome to Meet the Artichoke Girl Maria. So Maria and I have been arguing about where we met, but I think we're finally in agreement now that we met in Bury St Edmunds when your middle child and my first child were at preschool. And then I lost track of you, and that is because you opened a florist, so you stopped coming to the school gates. So you had a new baby.
Yes.
And a toddler.
Yeah.
And a 10-year-old.
Yeah.
And a shop.
Yes.
And then what did you do?
And what did I do after that?
But yeah.
I opened a second shop.
Oh, God.
And that was because I think at that point I'd completely lost my mind.
So you ended up with 3 shops and
did.
3 kids?
Yes.
All under 14? 2 were under 11, weren't they?
Yeah, they were. Yeah, Mark couldn't walk when I opened the first shop. He's 21 now.
Oh my goodness me.
Yeah.
Right, so is Maria talking loud enough? Because we all know that I shout, but we just need to make sure that you can all hear Maria. So if you can't, ladies, tell us so she will speak up. And hi, Sue, how are you? So, Maria, after you had 3 florist shops and 3 kids... Then what did you do? Because that's not your career now. You then moved on to your second one, didn't you?
I did, yeah. Well, this career that I'm in now, I had before the florist shops. So when I had Mark, I decided flowers were always a passion.
Mm-hmm.
My mum loved flowers and she was always arranging flowers. So I just thought it's just something I want to go and learn.
Mm-hmm.
With no intention of having a shop. So after I had him, he was born in the June, and in September I started college for 3 years and did a floristry course and loved it. And I would say I started that in September 1999, and in June 2000, not even quite completing the first year of my course, I bought the first shop.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And then from there I finished my course while running a business.
This is all coming back to me now, which is why we never saw you. And actually, as a flower arranger myself, she says, I go and watch them do the arrangements. I can't believe that after 6 months you were mad enough to open your own shop.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what made me do it, but I did. It was a learning curve.
I think it's a very steep one.
I think it's, if anybody had told me what was involved, I wouldn't have done it.
No,
so you're better off going in blind in this thing. So yeah, the career I do now, so before I took the first shop, we'd moved to Bury. We only moved to Bury in 1998.
You need to tell everybody what you do now?
I'm a psychotherapist.
Oh, okay.
So in 1998, before I came to Bury, I was born in London. Always lived in London, and I started working in education. So I worked in FE, which is a college in North London, Southgate College. I was there for 10 years, and my boss at the time said to me, do you fancy doing a teacher qualification? So yeah, okay, so they were going to pay for it, so off I went, did a teacher qualification, and then I started teaching at the college. After 10 years, I left there, and we came to, well, I did a short move to Bishop Stortford and then came to Bury St Edmunds to live here. And that's when, but during the education I was teaching, I was working one-to-one with students, and so we came to Bury, I got the shop, off we go, and in 2006 things happened in my life took different directions. Kids had to be prioritised, so I went back into education.
Right.
Okay, so I went back into school, got a job straight away, sold the businesses, and then started working at a school in Bury St Edmunds, a high school. Started my work one-to-one, and then they said to me, you're really good with this one-to-one work, do you fancy training in counselling? And so I went, yep, never miss an opportunity, and that's how the journey started. And then after the counselling course, I probably worked with about 500 students one-to-one.
Oh my goodness me.
Yeah, so then I just progressed and went on, and then I did more studying, more qualifications. And 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, leap of faith, went into private practice. Haven't looked back.
Well, you are quite good at it.
Thank you.
Because we met up again, didn't we? We are going to get on to the 30 questions, ladies. But Maria and I met up again.
We did.
I think as my mum and dad were poorly. Were they? Or were they, had they gone?
I think your dad had died when I met you again.
No. It was before because we went out for a drink with Liz, didn't we?
Did.
This is not quite as interesting for you as it is for us.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And then I couldn't believe that Maria was a psychotherapist because I thought she did ironing and flowers.
I don't know where the ironing were from, but anyway.
And then once my mum and dad had died, it was a really rough year. I hit a really bit of a brick wall. Yeah. And I must say, my darling, that you put the mojo back in my step.
And she was very pessimistic that it was even going to work.
I know, well, what can I say?
Yeah.
So anyway, I can thoroughly recommend Maria if you have the mental health equivalent of a minor cold as I did, or else if you're mad as a box of frogs, but I don't think I'm allowed to say that in front of a therapist.
No, you are, because I think that's what we both are.
So anyway, ladies, that's a bit of a background about how Maria and I know each other and what Maria's up to at the moment. And now we are going to rock on with the dreaded 30 questions. And although she spends her life helping people come to terms with what's happening in their lives, she is so far out of her comfort zone now.
Absolutely.
So we're going to go ahead so that she relaxes a little and just ask you a few inane questions. So, my darling, the first two we ask everybody is diamonds or pearls?
Diamonds.
Big knickers or small knickers?
Big Bridget Jones knickers.
And then we have to get on to boobs because this camera hopefully is carefully angled to disguise Maria's. So let's move on to brassiers. Obviously, before we move on to the next question, we have reached the age, my darling, haven't we, where we need scaffolding.
Absolutely.
And
I think I've always had good scaffolding.
Have you? So, and you were talking about the fact that actually because you're so aware of your boobs, you wear clothes that are too big for you.
Very true.
Which is a huge problem.
Yeah, because I like dresses. I'm a dress person. So I always have to go up a size because to get the top in. Yeah. And then they swim down the bottom. Yeah. You
need to get them altered. You need to find...
My dresses or my boobs?
Well, it might be cheaper and easier to get your dresses altered, Maria. Absolutely. You need to find a good tailor because I get all mine taken in. Okay. So as long as they fit you on the shoulders, or they're not too huge on the shoulders, you get them all around the old bezoarms. And then you like have this sticky outy bit here over your hips. You just get them taken in. Okay. Bish bash bong.
I'll have to do that.
There you are. Get your dresses altered, my darling.
Okay.
Right, so how many hours of sleep do you get each night?
7.
You need a bit more than that.
7 or 8. Yeah,
8's good.
Yeah, more than I used to, I think.
Really?
Well, when I was in education, I was up at 5 every day. So I'm not quite. Though this morning was an early one. I had a client at 8 this morning. So, yeah. I try and not start work. My first session's normally 9. If they can't get in at 9, I do an 8. But I try not to fill that session very often. I try and fill the next one, which is at 10:30.
Yeah.
And give myself some time in the morning. But yeah, I would say I go to bed about 11ish.
Oh my God! I'm almost ready to get up then.
Yeah, but I don't finish work till 8:30, 7:45.
No, I suppose you do start at the opposite end of the day, don't you? Now, we are in your beautiful new home. How would you describe it? We're not actually, we're in the shed in the beautiful new home.
Summer house. This is my therapy room.
No, we are in the therapy room in the beautiful new home.
How would I describe it? Homely.
It's lovely though, isn't it?
Homely, yeah, it's definitely homely.
Do you have a favourite room?
The conservatory.
Can't see that from here. Oh yes, I can. Yes, yeah. That's where the telly is.
The telly's in both rooms, but there's something about it. Just even we're trying to get it so it's so much warmer in the winter. just love spending time.
It's got the
in it.
light, hasn't
Yeah,
it?
it has got light.
Really
Yeah.
lovely light. And who is your favourite designer?
Oh, that's a hard one. I used to ask students at the college this question because I used to work for the fashion and the art department.
Did
and
you?
We used to interview students and we used to say to them, why do you want to do fashion? And they said, oh, you know, all the lovely clothes. We used to go, who's your favourite designer? And I'll go, I don't know. And are you really sure you want to do fashion? So here I am, caught out by my own question. I don't know if I've got, I'm going to be really honest, I don't think I've got one. I don't tend to follow a designer. I like clothes because I see it and I just go, oh, I like that. There isn't no rhyme or reason to who or what I like.
And have you always been as confident about your very own sense of style, or has that come with maturity?
I think I have no sense.
Oh, Maria, for goodness sake.
Really, I don't. I really struggle. Yeah, I think I would say I struggle. Do you know what I've always dreamed of is having someone dress me and go, I want to be Gokwan.
Well, I'm sure we can arrange that. We can see if you can be Mark Hayes. I might ask him if he'll Mark Hayes you, because I don't know Gokwan.
Well, I used to watch him when he used to do that naked body, you know. He used
Yeah.
and he used to take, or Trini and Susanna back in the day, where they used to take someone and go, this is what will suit you. I don't think I really know what suits me.
I would disagree, because you always look fab.
Oh, thank you.
I've never looked at you and thought, oh my God, she looks like a bag of spanners.
Oh, it's only me who thinks that then.
Yeah.
Okay.
So hear me giving you therapy.
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
You should have a bit more confidence, my girl. So, what was the biggest lesson you learned from your father?
My father was far too strict. So the lesson I learned from my dad was not to be strict with my children. And it was a lesson and a hindrance because they got away with everything. I think I was far too soft on them because I said I never wanted to be my dad. My dad is lovely. As he's got older, he's definitely mellowed. But yeah, I think he was too strict on us.
Was he a real patriarch?
Well, they came to this country, so not being from here.
So where did your mum and dad come from then?
They came from Cyprus. Okay, my dad in the late 50s. When did my mum, 57? Yeah, so they're probably in the late 50s. They met in London and were engaged and married at 16. My dad was 18. My mum had 3 of us by the time she was 24.
Oh my goodness me. And actually, for all the ladies who live in Ely, I've suddenly remembered something about your mum.
My mum had the clothes shop in Ely in the same walkway that you did.
Can you remember what it was called?
No, it was a long time ago.
What decade roughly? Because we can ask.
80s.
So if anybody who's watching this knew Ely in the 80s.
There was a lady who used to run it for her called Dawn.
Somebody.
She was South African.
Okay.
South African lady called Dawn who used to run the shop for her because Mum worked in London and would go up at the weekends with my sister, who used to be the Saturday girl.
So if anybody can let us know what the name of the shop was, that would be lovely.
Next door to the one you had. It might have been next door or 2 doors down.
Okay.
Because I couldn't believe it when I found out where your shop was. It was like, and it was really strange. Coming from London, Mum used to go to Ely to run the shop, and we used to go, where's Ely? Actually, it isn't. And now I live in Suffolk, and I just think, what was I on? As a child, as a teenager growing up, Ely was just like a place we'd never heard of.
Well, why would you want to go to Ely as a teenager if you live in London?
True. Oh, Ely's beautiful.
It is beautiful, but I'm sure as a teenager, I mean, I can remember going to stay with my cousins in London, and I was just so overawed by everything because they were so hip and so cool, and we were a bit sort of rural, really, to put no finer point on it. Right, my darling. So, what 3 things are always in your handbag?
Lipstick.
Yeah. Which one?
Which is a pain now that we've
With
got to
a
wear a mask.
Yeah, I noticed for the first time ever, neither of us have got lipstick on.
A little bit, still a bit down. I use the Clarins tube.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my favourite.
Mhm.
What else is in my handbag? My purse, of course.
Yes.
And my phone.
Your phone. So nothing unusual then.
Hand sanitizer now.
I think that's quite normal now. You've forgotten your mask. Actually, that's completely wrong. You should have said your mask as number one.
No, it's never in the handbag. It's usually hanging on the wall.
I put mine over my ear.
It blows away in the window.
So, Maria, what would you never wear?
Ooh, what would I never wear? Tight clothes. Do you know what I've always wanted to wear and I never wear? And that's those, gypsy type
Yes.
tops. Oh my God, I love them. But I think it's because we can't wear them.
No, because your tits will be nestling on your knees, darling.
So yeah, I also backless things.
Yeah,
that
backless.
people
Yeah.
with. I know you can get all these bras that
They don't
cross,
work.
but they don't work. So
No.
yeah, I do have small boob envy for
Yeah.
those ladies who can wear those backless, low tops, no bra, tops, which I can't do. So.
Yeah, but they haven't got our legs, darling. So that's what you
true.
need to worry about. Focus on the positive.
Absolutely.
Which city would you most like to visit?
What, in the UK?
Anywhere.
Rome's the next one on the list.
Have you never been to Rome?
No, it's one I've not done.
No, I've never been to Italy.
Oh, haven't you?
No, never.
Yeah, I've done Venice and Pisa, but I've never had the chance to go to Rome. But we are talking about that.
Oh,
one.
that's
The next
lovely.
visit, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm working my way through Spain at the moment. I just went to Yorkshire instead of Granada, but it was lovely.
Yeah.
And I saw the Minster, which I never would have seen otherwise.
Lovely.
And what do you normally eat for breakfast?
Fruit and yogurt.
Well, that's very healthy.
I'm trying to be.
So when you're not trying to be healthy, what do you eat for breakfast?
Scrambled eggs on toast.
That's still quite healthy, isn't it?
I love scrambled eggs on toast, yeah. If I can get away with a bit of granola, which I love. But yeah, that's basically my breakfast.
It's very, very healthy. What is the oldest item of clothing in your wardrobe?
Oh, I've got old stuff. Years. I would say, and shoes even longer.
I do know that you have got a lot of shoes,
have.
because I think I've got collection envy.
Yeah, I've got, and they go back many years. I've got shoes from years and years ago. I love my feet, so it helps.
So how many pairs of shoes do you reckon you've got?
Don't know. I've never really counted them.
Did you need a separate van to move them
No,
here?
no, not that many. I'd say, I don't know, 40.
Well, I think, do you know what? I think by today's standards, I don't think that's a lot, because
No,
now you
but
can get them so cheaply, but you
Yeah.
have nice shoes,
Yeah,
don't you?
I buy shoes because aesthetically they're beautiful. I've got a pair of shoes I have never worn, but they're beautiful. So I will do one day. But yeah, and your feet never change. They don't change. Mine don't. They're always.
It's because you wear good shoes.
Yeah, my shoes are I always am the same size.
Yeah.
So yeah, I love shoes.
And you're blessed
boots.
as well not to have bunions, because I haven't got bunions either. But I am an orthotic woman, so I do have to have little insoles now, which is very boring. But shoes are my passion.
Yeah.
I haven't got as many as you. What is your favourite flower?
That's really difficult. How can you ask an ex-florist what her favourite flower is? There's too many to mention. I'm very. If you said a style, I would say if I could go into a wild garden and pick them all, then that's probably wild flowers, wild natural rose garden-y type flowers. Love peonies. I love sunflowers. There are too many to mention.
So, would you say that if you were to arrange yourself, not do a bouquet or do somebody's wedding, if you were doing an occasion for yourself, would it be very blousy and lots of wildflowers? That would be the way that you would be going, rather than the eternal...
Yeah, I do the structures, but...
what's that pyramid called? The triangle thing?
Yeah,
the
I know.
pedestal.
Even a pedestal would be loose.
Loose,
and,
yes.
And English flowers. And yeah, I'm very much supporting the British flower growers.
And actually there are more and more, aren't there?
Definitely.
Which is really good.
Yeah.
Because I've always loathed carnations, and the reason I loathe them is I don't know about it now, but many years ago when they were grown in Colombia, I think they may well still be there, and a lot of the women that were working in those greenhouses, they were being killed by the pesticides. So unfortunately, I always associate carnations with ladies losing their lives, just so I could have a flower in my house.
I love tulips too. I've spent a lot of time in Holland, and I was really lucky to do my work placement out there, and that's because I've got family. So so many trips to Holland, and understanding the auction houses, and worked in a fabulous florist out there.
Oh God, I bet that was wonderful.
I came back and went, I don't want to do this British floristry, please. I'd like to do Dutch floristry. So combining the two was really
because
good.
theirs is really architectural as well, isn't they? Do those beautiful sort of like they're not. They're like, oh God, those. What am I trying to like structures that made out of flowers? Do you know what I'm trying?
Danish tend to do more structured using like frames.
Yes, that's what I'm thinking of.
Whereas where I worked, they were very natural. I love to pick things. I make sure I grow things in the garden that I can use. So
you've got a picking garden growing here, a cutting garden, not a picking garden. So ladies, if you want to ask Maria any questions, please do so. I forgot to say that at the beginning. Just to recap for people who've just joined us, we're going through Maria's 30 questions. She started life as teaching and further education, then moved on to having 3 florist shops, and now she is a psychotherapist. So so she never really sits still. And on top of the psychotherapy, you also you have a Neil's Yard business as well.
I'm a consultant for Neil's Yard,
which is fabulous.
It's something. It's more. The psychotherapy is my serious work, like I say, and the Neil's Yard is my fun work.
And do the two sit together? Are they complementary?
They can be. I don't mix them, so it's completely different. So lockdown was great because I could do Zoom parties, and they were really good fun to have. And you could invite loads of people, and they'd all come along, and we'd laugh and chat, and just use products really. So
it's a nice social thing to do in lockdown. And actually, we were just talking about their hand serum, which is lovely. My favourite. So I can thoroughly recommend.
Yeah, if anybody wants anything.
The Frankincense Intense Hand Treatment Serum. Your hands won't look like old ladies anymore. They'll be youthful. What is your favourite museum or art gallery?
Museum. History Museum. It's got to be. I love it there.
Yeah?
I've been so many times with the children. When they were little, love it. Yeah, it's probably my favourite museum. Art gallery. Don't know really.
You're not that fast.
No. We were in Athens 2 years ago, and we did the museums there. They were amazing.
Yeah, I bet they were.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm scared to Athens. Haven't been there either. Long list of places I've never been to. Greece after Italy. I'm going to be as old as Methuselah before I get through all these. So who is the most famous person you have ever met?
Oh, do you want the list? I've been really lucky.
Have you?
Okay, shall I start? I'll try and start as early as I can if I go through the list. So, Glenda Jackson.
Where did you meet Glenda Jackson?
Richard, Lord Snowdon, Roy Hattersley. I'm just going through my... one of the florist shops, we got an order from Boris Becker, and I had to deliver it to Claudia Schiffer, who lives in...
Oh, yes!
And I said to the staff, I'm doing this one. I'm delivering this one. So who else have I met? Who have I met? Yazoo, as they were. So Alison Moye.
Yes.
She's in Yazoo. So I met Yazoo. But there is a lot of people, because I'll tell you why. When I didn't like school, I didn't do my education until I was 26. I did 1 year of sixth form and left. I wasn't keen on school, so I stayed on for 1 year at sixth form, and I just went and got a job. And I decided to get a job in a London hotel just off Oxford Street. Well, the first one was just off Gloucester Road, and then the second one was just off Oxford Street. So hence the one just off Gloucester Road, they built a Indian. It was owned by the Raj Group, and I loved working for them. I learned so much stuff. It was my first insight to how I really like people. So if I look at my work, actually, that is the theme. I work really well with people. They built the Bombay Brasserie, which is still going. It's a restaurant which is beautiful. So Lord Snowdon and Cafish were invited to open it. So that's where I met those. I've met some really grumpy ones. I won't go into details about some people that really you don't want to meet. As in star-wise, you know, what do they say? Don't meet what's the saying? Don't meet the person who you idolise because you'll be disappointed.
I'm so glad I never met Bowie then.
And that's how it started. So, and then I got a job in just off Oxford Street. I loved it. Every day I would finish work, go down Oxford Street, shopping, trying on clothes. Jane Norman. I used to love Jane Norman. Yeah, so that's how I started. So it became second nature just to be checking in people who were famous. It never, it was just. And then one day I went down to reception to work, and I turned around and Glenda Jackson was eating in the restaurant. I thought, oh, okay. And that's what it was like, and I loved it. I stayed for 5 years.
Do you know what? This is really odd, but that's another thing we've got in common. I actually finished the sixth form, but when everybody else went off to university, I went to work at the Belsterbrook Hotel in Ipswich. And that used to be where all the footballers went and all the pop stars went.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I have met a lot of famous people as well, and some of them were very pervy. It didn't come as quite as a shock to me as it did to the rest of the general public. And there are still one or two that need to be outed, but we probably won't be doing it today.
No, I'll tell you later.
See, we're going to compare notes. But I actually think, I mean, my mother was horrified that I was a waitress for 4 or 5 years, but I think it gave me a really good grounding in life.
Yeah,
and I learned so many skills that I've been able to use since.
Yeah, I started on reception, and the day I started, I think the week I started, 3 staff had left.
Oh my God.
And so thrown in the deep end, just get on with it. And you just had to get on with it. But it was a great learning lesson, and I worked with some amazing people. So, yeah, stood me in good ground.
Definitely. And then I got a proper job.
Yeah, and then I went back into education, which I should have done.
Right, my love. So what is your favourite item of Artichoke clothing?
I love my cape.
Oh, you look lovely in that cape.
I love that cape. And that was, we were in Ely for the day, and we just went into the shop to have a look around, and there it was.
Oh, well, there you Oh, actually, no. The stuff I've picked up today isn't from where you got that cape from. But I've just been down to London, ladies, and I've picked up some fabulous stuff. One of which is a gilet, which you are going to love. Yeah, they are gorge. They're going to go on the website later this week. Yeah. But they are some golden oldies. I've rediscovered a couple of styles that we haven't started for 4 or 5 years. Simply because I forgot about them, really. But anyway, we got them back. What are you reading at the moment, Maria?
Oh, it's funny you should say that. I've got it here. And only because between clients, I sometimes pick up the book. I'm reading something called The Choice.
Oh, okay. Is it a novel?
No. It's Edith Eger, and she survived Auschwitz.
Oh, wow.
And she went on to do psychology, and that's why I'm reading it. And, oh my God, amazing life, this woman. And she says some stuff that I just go, oh, wow. That's what I work with. There's some bits of information in there that she did, some wise words that I just really have got to me. And I've actually used some of that with a client the other day, just telling them how we have choices in life. We have a choice whether we do well in life or whether we, go to bed and never get up. It's a choice. And that's what she talks about, how she got through this by making choices that were good for her. And it didn't start that way. She did suffer and she struggled, and she was put on the pile.
Oh my God.
And it was, I think, an American who just was looking through the bodies and found her, and she was still breathing, and rescued her. So yeah, that's a really good book. So that's what I'm reading at the moment.
It does actually sound fabulous, and
Yeah,
I'm not
it's
great
really
with
good.
autobiography, but that sounds. Is it a bit less about what I did this and I did that, and a bit more about?
Yeah, it's about her life, and it's really good. And she talks about what happened was with her. How I found this book. Let's just go back. How I found this book is I saw her being interviewed online by Oprah.
Okay.
And I went, oh my God, she's fascinating. I've got to get this book, and that's how I got the book. But yeah, it's about her life, but it's not all. She doesn't go into she goes into how dreadful it was, but it's readable. It's not gory or it's horrendous, but yeah, it's a really good book. She's got some lovely words. It's about it's the way she puts it. I'd highly recommend it.
Right, we'll add that to the list. So that's The Choice Ladies
Yeah,
by
Edith Eger.
There you are. Put that on your reading list. Maria, what is your favourite food?
Oh, that's a hard one because I just eat everything. That's really difficult. I was raised on a Mediterranean diet. I would probably go that way.
Mm-hmm.
You know, olives, hummus, good bread. Try not to eat too much bread now, but it's really hard. I just love everything. So.
Is there anything you don't like? Would that be easier?
Yeah, anchovies.
Oh, I love anchovies.
I don't mind them in things, but I just don't like them on a pizza like that.
Oh, I love it. Margarita with anchovies and olives. Yum,
yeah,
yum.
No, what don't I like? Oysters. I love fish. I love, prawns and squid, and also not oysters.
No.
If I want to spend that sort of money on something that tastes like that, just go in the sea and open your mouth. Just it tastes the same. I just don't get it. Yeah, open your mouth, put loads of sea water in. You've got an oyster.
So there you are. The one thing we can say about you, girl, is you are not fur coat, no knickers. You are the real McCoy. But you see, I think the same about asparagus. I mean, if it's given to me, I'll eat it. But it's like eating urine. Why?
Oh, no, I like it.
No. So I think we've all got these things that we just think it's waste. Artichokes. I think they're all right. But really, my life is too short to eat this tiny little bit at the bottom.
Yeah, I was raised on them, so and we would eat the leaves raw.
Okay.
So you just peel them off and eat the white, and the hearts.
That's the bit I can eat, yeah.
Yeah, and the hearts we'd cook, and they're
right. Okay.
They're delicious.
You see, I think the only ones I've ever had since you peel off the outside and you got this tiny little bit at the bottom. Is when they've been
in a jar.
In a jar, and they're revolting.
Okay.
But I've never eaten oysters either, so there you are. I'm more of a bangers and mash girl myself.
Well, it's really hard. I mean, growing up with parents that had come over, going to school and trying to fit in, oh my God, it was awful. If I said to them, we have olive oil, on salad, and they go, ooh, we get that in the chemist.
Yeah, put it on your skin.
You used to go, yeah, egg and chips is really nice. I just wanted to fit in. So, yeah.
Oh, have we done
I love egg and chips.
Oh, do you know I hate egg and chips? Cake or ice cream, Maria?
Ice cream and cake mixed together.
Ice cream cake.
Lovely. Both. I can't choose.
And what is the best part of your job?
People. I love them. All of them. No judging. That's really important. People, definitely.
And if you could make a documentary, what would it be about?
I don't really want to get political.
Well, it doesn't have to be about politics. It could be about dolphins if you
want.
want.
Me, what would it be about?
So you could write a documentary about life in Elmswell.
No. What would I write a documentary about? Oh, that's a really hard one. The state of our mental health and the state of the institute. I'm going to get political.
That's okay.
Just
You're
get me
allowed
off
to.
that one. Yeah, I think it's dreadful.
It has been for a long time though, hasn't it?
Absolutely awful. Waiting, I mean, you can't get a wellbeing appointment for love nor money.
No.
They're so overrun.
But that's nothing new.
No, I think it's got worse.
Mm.
So.
And it's going to get worse as well.
Yeah.
Because there's no money.
So yeah.
And mental health is the bottom of the pile, which is a bit odd, but it is.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what I said. Let's not get
And actually thinking about it, she said, winding her up a bit more, is that clearly, I mean, the biggest thing that worries me about the situation that we're in at the moment with COVID-19 is the fact that the detrimental effect on people's mental health is currently and is going to continue being absolutely horrific.
Well, last Monday, was it last Monday I heard this statistic? 27 people had died and 152 had committed suicide. We need to get the perspective here.
Yeah, I think, you know, we're just going to look back in 10 years' time and think, oh my God.
What were we thinking?
Yeah.
You know, really? You know, I'm seeing lots of funny posts, but I think we have to laugh at some of it. You know, if you have a Christmas party and, you know, what's it? They say
Did you
kill?
Yeah, I did that yesterday. You kill the turkey and invite 30 to the funeral.
I knew it was something like that. We have to laugh about this because some of the things that they're putting in place are ridiculous. You know, I had right at the beginning of this, when they started opening up, I've got a friend who's a beauty therapist, and she put a post up, all come to the pub, I'll treat you there. Because she could see them all in the pub, but she couldn't see them I mean, yeah.
There's
Anyway,
not a lot of joined up thinking. We're moving on from that one.
Yeah.
So, darling, what is your happiest childhood memory?
Oh, there's so many. Holidays, I would say. My parents worked really hard, but could never afford to put us all on an aeroplane. I've got two sisters as well, so they would drive us. So we'd break up from school in the car, suitcases, food, watermelons in my feet, and we would drive to Greece and then get the ship over to Cyprus.
Oh my gosh.
3 days. Sleeping in the car, eating. As we got older, we would stay more in accommodation, but it was such a wonderful experience, and I saw the whole of Europe. We would drive through France and Germany and Switzerland, Yugoslavia as it was then. So we would drive through all these countries, Italy, you know, up through Switzerland to Italy, down to Greece. Sometimes we would stay in Greece, and other times we would get the ship over, and lots of boring moments in the car. Are we there yet? But generally, really happy memories.
And you did that every year?
Not every year, but we did it a few times. But life was so easy when we were children. Well, it was for us. We were so innocent, and it was about fun. And yeah, I had a very nice childhood.
That's probably why you're very well balanced now.
Yeah, we had a lot. Don't get me wrong. There was a lot. When I was a child, I went through bullying like most people go through. Racism was high on the agenda when we were at school. You know, we were sung at, we had things thrown at us. Teacher had to drive me home when they used to wait outside the gates. But it was just the times, I think, as it was then. You know, we were foreign. Even though I was born in London, and people used to say, go home, and I used to go, where's home? I never used to understand it as a child. It wasn't until I was 13, I think, and we were in Cyprus, and my mum took us to the village that she was born and grew up in, and I was standing at the top. It was in the mountains, and I was standing at the top looking down, and it was like an epiphany, a moment of, God, if my parents weren't from here, I would never have this opportunity. Look where I am, you know, look where I'm standing. Every summer I come and look at these places. So there was a moment of realisation for me, and after that it never bothered me, but I really did want to fit in, and that was hard.
And that's just so odd, sort of growing up in rural Suffolk, that you know, with the same age, and I just can't believe that you went through that.
Yeah. Oh God, it was horrendous. They used to think I'm forever blowing bubbles as we used to walk down the road because bubble and squeak Greek.
Oh my God!
That's the derogatory term
Oh
for Greeks
my
back then.
God!
Yeah, and it was horrendous. And it was so mixed. I could never understand it. I had fabulous friends. Don't get me wrong. I went to a junior school as it was then. That was really mixed. You know, I can even name you all the kids on my table. But I had an English. There was Douglas next to me, who was what I would call English back then as a child, and I had Miguel from Spain, and I had Caleb from the West Indies, I had Edward, who was from Africa, I had Yotta, another Greek girl. It was very mixed, and I loved that, but there was the other part of it. Secondary school was harder. Secondary school was...
That's when kids notice difference though, isn't it?
It was really hard.
Yeah.
Honestly, having to have your year head drive you home.
That's
They're all
horrific.
waiting outside the gate for you.
That is horrific,
Yeah,
Maria.
yeah. It's really hard to have a brick put through the front door. It was awful. Yeah.
And I think the saddest thing is I don't think we've moved on. You know, it might not be the Greek Cypriots, but then it's...
Felt it.
But they weren't in they grew up in Bury.
Yeah, my oldest was in London
Was he?
now, but they didn't... Oh, he felt
Look at this Black Lives Matter. I thought all that was done and dusted. I thought everybody treated each other equally now.
No.
But that's because we live in a very privileged rural part of the country and we're slightly distanced from it, aren't we?
Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, but even with that, I really had a good childhood.
Well, that's good to hear, my darling, despite that.
Despite that.
So what is your favourite sport, Maria?
To do or to watch?
Well, it's just a generic question.
Okay.
You don't do a lot
swimming.
of running, do
No,
you?
No, I can't run. No, I always say that old saying: if you see me running, run because something's chasing me, because you won't be finding me.
I always say I'll do it round A&E just in case.
No, I love swimming. I've used to go a lot. I haven't been for ages actually. I love the Olympics. I have to say, I really get into it. I'm really behind them. Yeah, come on, run. You know, so yeah, the Olympics I would say is probably just general.
And your favourite cocktail?
I'm not a great drinker. I think you know that. I love a mojito. I've really coming off. Just drinking in general, I've been introduced to gin and tonics and I'm really enjoying them. So, yeah, not a wine drinker at all.
Oh my God, I just bought you a bottle of wine. Oh, I can't believe that.
I just, no, I love Prosecco, but I'm not a wine drinker.
I was torn actually between Prosecco and red wine. And I thought, I'm not sure Tony will be going for the Prosecco.
No,
It's a bit too girly. And your favourite pudding?
Such a question. I love them all. Probably a cheesecake.
And what is the greatest invention of all time?
The kids would say the internet. That's a really hard one. The greatest invention of all time. Washing machine?
Well, it certainly gave women their lives, didn't it? Where would be without it?
Well, I remember loading the big can with all the washing to go down
The
the
laundrette!
So I come from that era. So, yeah, the washing machine.
The twin tub, I remember that. Did you have a twin tub or just the laundrette?
No, we did eventually have a washing machine. Yeah, but no, I remember sitting for ages in laundrettes as a child.
That's how interesting your childhood was. Kids have got PlayStations now. Maria had the laundrette.
Yeah.
And heels or flats?
Both.
What is the best fashion secret that you have learnt?
Tights that hold you in. I like a thick tie in the winter.
They are cracking, aren't they?
They hide a lot of things.
Yeah.
Everything in. Yeah, probably.
So that's very large tights as well as very large knickers. Girl after my own heart. And finally, Maria, do you believe in free will or destiny?
If you'd asked me that as I was growing up, I'd have said destiny, and I think more as I've got older, free will.
Why?
Okay, because we have a choice. And I think it's those choices. But I'm a great believer in no regrets. Okay, we make choices that are right for us at the time. Okay, and so that's why it can never be a regret. You must always look back on them and say, what did I learn from it, rather than regretting it.
So you're going to have Piaf's non je ne regrette around at your funeral too?
Probably. Yeah, I would say as I've got older, definitely. I did go through a very spiritual stage where I believed in destiny and your life has been chosen. But there are moments of that still. You know, sometimes I go, okay, has that been given to me for a reason? You know, so I do question that sometimes, you know, but I do still think we have choice.
Perhaps we have both. Perhaps it's both.
Yeah, a bit of both.
Yeah.
I think we should trust our guts.
Yeah,
very much
we
so.
have choices about our destiny.
Yeah, up to a point, because that can change. We never know what's around the corner, and I've learnt that quite a lot. Yeah. So
In spades.
In spades, yeah. You never know what's around the corner.
So, Maria, thank you so much for joining us for Artichoke's 30 Questions. I know that you didn't want to do it, and thank you so much for doing it for me. But hopefully it was better than you thought it was going to be. Maria keeps turning down podcasts because she hates this. So you don't realise, ladies, how lucky you are that you've heard a little bit about Maria and her life through our 30 questions. So we're back on Sunday with Sunday Styling. I'm taking you through the denim collection, and we're asking you to save the date, ladies, October the 4th, which is the following Sunday, which is our virtual fashion show. It's the first fashion show we're doing this year. It's probably going to be the last. So it's not the huge lunch that we normally do to launch our autumn collection, but you can gather a few girlfriends together, have lunch and watch our fashion show at midday on October the 4th. So we'll see you on Sunday and the following Sunday. Thank you very much indeed for watching, ladies, and thank you, Maria.